What's up, Rad family? I'm Dakota Freeman and welcome to the Rad Adventure Dude channel. Today I want to show you the fastest way to improve your balance to get you out on the tracks and trails the safest and fastest way possible. When we're riding on a dirt bike, we're riding on two wheels, and there's absolutely no way around learning how to balance these two wheels properly. It's not going to be as hard as you think though, so let's just go ahead and dive straight into it. When we're learning how to balance on our dirt bike, we're going to want to know that the slower you roll on your dirt bike, the harder it's actually going to be to balance your dirt bike. And the way to actually improve your balance is to get your wheels turning a little faster. Hold on with me, because I'm not trying to tell you here just to turn that throttle on and go fast, but what I'm trying to tell you is that to improve your balance, you actually want to be able to have a little bit more momentum as you're even learning how to ride. So to do this, what we're going to do is actually get into a little bit higher gear than just first or second. And if you need help with shifting your gears, I have plenty of other videos on that topic, but this video is just simply about your balance. So as we get into a second or third gear, you're going to notice that one, the throttle is no longer as responsive as it was in first gear with so much torque. Now you can actually apply a little bit of throttle and it's a lot smoother to actually help you gain more momentum and be able to balance your dirt bike better. You see, the slower you roll, the easier it is that your bike just wants to get all topsy-turvy and just fall over. But as soon as you start to get on the throttle and apply a little bit more speed to your riding, you're going to instantly feel how much more stable the bike becomes. So make sure that as you're learning how to do this, that you just simply know that if you're going slow, it's going to be a lot harder to balance. And if you start to go a little bit faster, it's going to make it much easier for you. Now let's talk about the riding positions that we need to do to actually balance properly. For starters here, we want to make sure that we have our feet on the pegs in the proper way. We want to make sure that we're standing on the balls of our feet or sitting on the balls of our feet. This is just going to assure that we have the best lower body positioning for our feet. And this is going to be huge to actually getting more balance out of our dirt bikes. Now we want to make sure that we're balancing the pegs properly. We don't want to be weighting one side more than the other unless we're actually trying to micro adjust the dirt bike. We want to make sure that when we are standing on the bike that we are applying even pressure to both foot pegs. Now, as you begin to get better with this, there's a couple more things that we can dive into. If you start to feel like the bike is wanting to lean one way and you want to correct this, now is when you can actually apply pressure to the other side of the foot peg and actually be able to balance the bike and keep it upright. This happens a lot when we're out on the trails and even on the tracks as well. So we can learn how quickly to use our foot pegs to get the most balance out of our bikes properly. You see, there's going to be a lot of different ways that we use our body to actually get more performance or more balance out of the bike. And when we're first learning is going to be the hardest time that we go through this because we're going to be going at those slower speeds like I talked about earlier. Well, we want to make sure that we're also not only just using our lower body to get the most balance properly, but we want to make sure that our upper body is positioned right to get the most balance as well. We want to stay in a nice centralized location, elbows up, gripping the handlebars, and even weighting the handlebars on different sides can even adjust your balance as well. So as you can see, anywhere that you're touching the dirt bike, whether it be your foot pegs or on your handlebars, you can simply press on them differently to micro adjust the bike and actually be able to adjust your balance as well. You want to make sure that you're in a centralized location, forward and back and side to side. If you're weighted on one side of the bike, it's going to want to naturally push the bike that way, and same for the other side. So being centralized on your bike is going to be a great way to improve your balance. This is just something that you're going to have to learn and instill in your riding, and it will become natural, but especially when you're learning, just make sure that you're comfortable when you're riding and comfortable with where you're sitting, and that's going to be the most important. The next thing I want to tell you about is when we're cornering. You see, when we are cornering is going to be the most important time to have good balance on our dirt bikes, because this is honestly the easiest time to fall because we're, one, going to be going slower, and two, we're actually going to be leaning the bike over to the inside of the corner, making it so much easier to actually fall over. You see, on a dirt bike, we don't lean the bike over and actually lean with the bike. We're honestly going to do the opposite. We are going to lean the bike over to the inside. We're going to drive our handlebars down to the inside of the corner. your outside elbow is going to be bent, and your inside arm will begin to straighten out. As you're doing this, you actually push your body weight to the outside of the dirt bike, so that way your body stays nice and upright while the bike begins to lean down. As you do this and develop better skills with this, it's going to get easier with time. You're going to be able to lean the bike over more and more. But simply what I want you to do, especially if you're learning, is to lean the bike over to the inside while you just keep your body weight nice and upright. You don't want to lean with the dirt bike, because that is going to then push your body weight over, making it harder to balance, especially when you're in this corner. Another thing you can do to get more balance out of your dirt bike, especially when you're cornering, is bring your body weight forward to the front of the seat. Push your inside leg out nice and straight to be able to get a lot of weight over this front end of the bike. This is going to weight your front tire down and make it a lot easier for you to lean the bike over and to be able to corner a lot more sharply. So work on this over time, and cornering is going to be the hardest time to balance, but I guarantee if you stick with this, it's going to become so much easier. If this video is already helping you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Now, the most important part of actually getting better and balancing your dirt bike is going to be to start standing up on your bike as well. You want to be able to seamlessly sit down and stand up to be able to not even have to think about this as it's going on. This way, when you're standing, you can actually move your body around a little bit more freely, and that is going to be a huge part of getting the most balance out of your bike. You see, as you're standing up, it's going to be harder to balance, especially if you're going slow, but just standing up, it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable when you're first learning. And to balance like this, you really want to make sure that you are focused on your foot pegs and how you're standing on them. You should be standing on the balls of your feet, and you really want to make sure, and this is important, to grip with your knees. When you start gripping the dirt bike and squeezing the bike with your knees, you can actually use the pressure of your knees to even counterweight your bike in different ways as well, making it a lot easier to balance and connect you with the bike. And I cannot stress how important it is that you do this if you're struggling with your balance. If you press with your knees and grab the bike with your knees, the bike's not able to accelerate and throw you back, or if you put on the brakes, throw you forward. It's actually locking you into position, and that's going to be huge to making sure you're right where you want to be at the exact right time. So make sure you're standing up with your balls of your feet on the pegs, you're gripping with your knees, and you should honestly have your knees bent and your upper body a little bit more forward. You want to make sure that your head is over the handlebars and that you're standing with the elbows out, and that's going to be huge to making sure that you have the right rider position to have the best balance possible. If your rider position's off, it's going to be so much harder to balance the bike no matter what you do. So focusing on this rider body position is really what's going to take your balance to where you don't even have to think about it anymore. And another step to actually improve this quicker is a little practice drill that you can do where once you get comfortable with riding, try to come to a stop and stand still while standing on your bike. This is going to be called a static balance drill, and it's really difficult, especially when learning. But as you get more comfortable with riding and you really want to improve your balance, especially if you're trying to become a track or a trail rider where you're going to have all sorts of different situations coming at you, a static balance drill is a great way to improve your balance in the fastest way possible. This is where I want you to come to a stop and just continue standing on your bike and try to manipulate your body weight back and forth on the foot pegs, upper body kind of bouncing around, weighting your handlebars separately, and try to stand on your dirt bike without even moving. This is going to be very difficult and something that you're going to have to work on for a while, but as you're going to see, you start working on this drill and you're not even going to have to think about balancing when you're doing normal things, because this is going to be the hardest time to balance because now you're not even moving on your dirt bike. If you ever feel like you're getting out of whack or struggling with balancing and maybe something's knocking you around on the trail, there's one more thing I want to tell you. Your throttle is actually your best friend. If you feel like your bike is wanting to fall over and you're struggling to get that balance out, accelerating on your bike just gets those wheels turning faster, and this centrifugal force is actually going to want to stand the dirt bike up no matter what's going on. So if you feel like you're struggling with your balance, just get these wheels moving a little faster when you're comfortable with it, and using that throttle could really save you if you're close to a crash. Rad family, I know this is something that's going to be difficult and something that's so frustrating when you're first learning, and honestly it's pretty scary because when we first start learning on our dirt bikes, there's a lot going on already, and now we're on two wheels and we have to balance this thing. But I know you're going to do great, and I'm really proud of you, so keep this up, keep working on it, and soon you're not even going to have to think about this anymore. In case you haven't done it yet, go ahead and check out my free book that I'm giving away on my website. Just go to the bottom of the page, leave your email, and I'm going to send it straight to you. This book is going to go over 25 shocking secrets you must know before riding a dirt bike, and I guarantee it's going to improve your riding. Make sure you click the subscribe button that's right here and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future dirt bike riding tips. After that, you can watch my next video right here. Stay rad, and I'll see you over there.